What's going on, everyone? So, Dallas Mavericks, right? They are absolutely imploding. Nico Harris might end up being fired. It's so funny that he's going to end up being the scapegoat for that whole thing, but it was the ownership and organization that wanted to get off of Luka Doncic. They greenlit it. They were the ones that kind of were like, yeah, sure. Hey, we should do this type thing. And fully support Nico, and Nico's the guy, and blah, blah, blah. And now you're hearing the reports that with all the negativity surrounding the Dallas Mavericks and all that, and, they go and get Cooper Flag, and they thought that would change things. You don't trade a generational talent and not expect what is to happen. I mean, Cooper Flag could be great. Great. And never be as great as Luka Doncic, right? Luka Doncic is literally generational, but nonetheless, Dallas Mavericks, they need to do something. They need to implode. And hey, who knows? Maybe Nico potentially being on his way out could even benefit the Lakers even more, because he might be like, fine, hey, let's do it, right? So, but you've seen, and I made a video about the Klay Thompson, right? The Dallas is expected to shop Klay Thompson. There's some links to the Lakers. I personally would stay away from Klay Thompson. I even said it in that video, unless you could use adding Klay Thompson to get other pieces you need. Hey, we'll help you get off of Klay's contract, and if you give us, guys like Max Christie, Daniel Gafford, so on and so forth, right? If we could use Klay as a way to kind of get the complementary pieces that we need, then I'd be willing to do that, because I do think Klay will be much better on the Lakers than he is currently on the Mavericks, because he's going to be slotted alongside Luka Doncic, LeBron James, and Austin Reeves. So the quality of looks that Klay is going to get, he's not going to have to self-create as much. He can kind of settle back into that kind of 3-and-D role that he once was, but he's not really that. He's not the Klay that he used to be, but he's still a guy that can go off on any given night. His playoff experience, I still think, would be huge. I don't hate the idea of Klay Thompson. I think he would be much better. I think he could give us what we'd be looking for from Dalton Connect, but he wouldn't be playing as big of a role on the Lakers as he would, at the end of Golden State, as well as currently on the Dallas Mavericks. He'd be, the 8th, 9th guy on the Lakers. Big difference than a guy you're looking to start and be the main guy, in the starting unit or something like that. But Dallas is a team in general that I would love to see the Lakers, at least continue to touch base with and see if maybe you can make some type of move around the trade deadline. Lakers have a ton of expiring contracts, and Dallas is a team that is going to need to kind of retool and kind of restructure things. So I do think that there is a path for kind of a mutually beneficial type of trade where it's hey, you help us, we help you. You can kind of retool and reset in the offseason type thing, especially if Dallas continues to play poorly. Seen people go hey, what do you think about bringing back Anthony Davis? Look, I love AD, right? Anthony Davis on this team I think would be ridiculous, but a couple things. One, guy, again, health isn't a big issue for him. And this is already a Laker team that's dealing and struggling with injuries. Two, the money he's getting and is going to get and all that stuff. I don't think the Lakers need an Anthony Davis to propel them into championship contention. I think you just need to get the complementary pieces that can really set and structure. And not just that, but Dallas is finding out the same thing that the Lakers knew, which is Dallas Mavericks are best with Anthony Davis at the 5. Anthony Davis doesn't want to play the 5, but he's not the floor spacer that he was in the bubble and stuff like that. He is best suited at the 5. And I think you have what you need with DeAndre Ayton. Yes, DeAndre Ayton and Anthony Davis in your front court would be fantastic, but I don't think that is what we need. I think you can accomplish kind of the same stuff you're looking for by just getting other complementary pieces. I wouldn't mind going and getting a Daniel Gafford. Teams are touching base and are interested in Daniel Gafford. Daniel Gafford, I think, would be a great acquisition. Again, a guy that, hey, Dallas, you committed to him over the next handful of years at a reasonable salary. I don't think he's overpaid, but I also think Daniel Gafford gives us kind of that backup that is familiar with Luka, but he also gives us that insurance in case DeAndre Ayton either A, gets more money elsewhere, or B, just whatever doesn't work out, which right now it is. Right now, DeAndre Ayton's been phenomenal, but it's still early in the season, right? So it just kind of gives us that insurance. And then, worst case scenario, you got DeAndre Ayton and Daniel Gafford, which I think would be great, give you an upgrade in the backup center position. But then beyond that, they have several kind of just 3-and-D type. Like, can we get Max Christie back? Right? I'd love to see the Lakers get Max Christie back, give you that guy that can defend 1 through 3 for you. I mean, he went to Dallas and basically became a 15-point-a-game guy. Right? I think if given the role, given the opportunity, he's the type of player that you want. He's young enough and fantastic enough, right? You might argue, well, how would he kind of have a Dalton Connect situation? But I think that is a completely different situation, right? Dalton Connect got traded and then immediately sent back. And he got traded for Mark Williams, right? At least with Max Christie, you could be like, dude, like, we traded you for Luka Doncic, right? Like, we didn't just trade you just to trade. We didn't want to trade you, but we had a chance to get Luka Doncic, and we liked you so much, we traded back for you. Right? If that doesn't send a signal that, hey, we didn't want to get rid of you to begin with, I don't know what does, right? We didn't trade you for some scraps. We didn't trade you for some bum. We traded you for one of the 3 best players in all of basketball. And, oh yeah, by the way, we then went and got you back, right? So I think things like that could really help. But you also have, several guys in general. Najee Marshall, I think, would be great. Be a great option to pick up, making $9 million. Again, just gives you a versatile defensive forward. You can maybe go get somebody like that. PJ Washington, I wouldn't hate. He's making a reasonable salary, right? Like, especially if you were to get off of Rui. PJ Washington kind of gives you a lot of the same similarities, but he's better defensively and kind of gives you that defensive anchor, right? And you could argue and make fun of like, oh, well, you're just the Dallas Lakers now. Well, Dallas went to the NBA Finals, not that long ago. And, oh yeah, by the way, they didn't have LeBron James, Austin Reeves, DeAndre Ayton, Jake LaRavia, right? Like, so yeah, if we could turn kind of our expirings into kind of the pieces that propelled Dallas into title contention, and then also maintain our key guys that help elevate this team enough to be that. Now we might be far and away the best team in basketball and a team that can go win an NBA championship. You go get Daniel Gafford, PJ Washington, and like a Max Christie or something like that. Again, you got a quality backup center. You got a versatile forward that can slot in at either forward spot. And you got another kind of versatile kind of guard forward that can slot in both. Like, I think you solved most, if not everything that you need to solve for this Lakers team. And again, you're getting guys that, some of these guys are on, like in Max Christie, Daniel Gafford, you have for a couple of years, right? So you can kind of restructure things. Lakers need, ideally, to kind of try to solve all their issues in one swing. Lakers still have issues. Lakers are a very good basketball team, and we don't know how good fully because we haven't seen this team fully healthy, right? This team might very well be a title contender and be one of the best teams in all of basketball. I mean, they've looked it through 10 games without LeBron and Luka and Austin Reeves and all those guys for, spurts throughout this stretch. But to me, there's clear needs on this team, regardless of how good the Lakers are. Lakers aren't a perfect team, but you can, and even if they were, you can always get better, right? Like, we knew going into this season, Lakers have a lack of athleticism and perimeter defense, right? Two-way capabilities, right? Well, if you can get a Max Christie, if you can get a PJ Washington, those are 2 guys that can kind of solve that, or Najee Marshall, whatever. If you can get guys like that, that solves some of those issues. And then you get some athleticism, again, at the center position. You get the landlord in Daniel Gafford that can block shots and be an interior presence, right? Like, and has familiarity with a Luka Doncic, stuff like that. And then for Dallas, it's like, I mean, obviously you'd probably have to give up assets. Like, if you're giving up a first, like if you told me the Lakers got Daniel Gafford, Najee Marshall, or PJ Washington and a Max Christie, and they gave up, the salary to clear, right? And then a first in like a pick swap, I wouldn't hate that. I wouldn't hate that at all, because you got Max Christie. I mean, all those guys are young enough to be pieces for the next handful of years. None of those guys are guys that are like just momentary, right? All of those guys are guys that could be, I mean, even Najee Marshall's like 27. So, you're talking about a bunch of guys that are 27, 28 years old. I mean, Max Christie's even younger, right? Like, so you have all of these pieces that can now be foundation pieces beyond this season. And then even in a LeBron departure season, you still have guys like, you still have, so say after the season, LeBron departs, right? you still have Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, Jake LaRavia, right? Max Christie, PJ Washington, or Nazi Marshall. You have Daniel Gafford, right? Like you still have Jared Vanderbilt. Like you still have Brody J. Like you Duo Thero. You still have 10, 12 guys deep, right? That you can all kind of use. LeBron kind of falls off, but DeAndre Ayton and Austin Reeves are kind of fill in that money. I mean, you win the championship this year, you could win multiple championships, right? You could win several championships, even if the Lakers have to go into the aprons and stuff like that. If you're a true contender and you're winning championships, then who cares, right? Like, so to me, I do think Dallas is a real potential partner. I do think Dallas is a guy that makes some sense for the Lakers. And I think Lakers make some sense for Dallas just to kind of reshuffle the deck here. Obviously, cost and everything is important. What does it cost to give guys? If they want the farm for some of these guys, then partially, good luck. Just wait and be patient. But if you can kind of find that middle ground where it's like, hey, you know what you could use? Getting off some salary so you can kind of retool and restructure this in the offseason. You're not a very good basketball team, and that's probably not going to change. Then I think that's something that you look to do. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Past question you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me not. So we enjoy these types of videos. Truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.